Hello, hello. How are you? This is Stacy from Shout It Out. Let's talk about it. How are you, lovies, doing today? Well, I couldn't wait to get on this. I was kind of annoyed this morning, but thank God I got it. So there will be commercials during this. This is definitely something that I haven't even really looked at myself. So bits and pieces I'm gonna take out for there was long intermissions. This is um if you haven't got the link at all, this is Woody going back on stage today for the YSL case or RICO trial, actually, with Young Thug. And so, if you haven't been up to date, or if you haven't been keeping up with the Young Thug trial, um, I'm gonna try to say this stuff the best way I can. I am not an attorney or anything of such, but I'm gonna just use some common sense. Okay, so today Woody gets back on the stage. The last time he was on the stand, I apologize. The last time he was on the stand, actually was in June 12th. So now that the judge was recused, which means removed from the bench, there we do now have a Judge Whitaker, who's the new judge that is on the trial. So I skipped over some parts in the beginning where she basically wanted everyone to the jury to understand that this was a clean slate. Like, she doesn't want to hear the replays, or people forget things. We got everyday living. So I'm not going to hold you up too much longer. I'm going to get into it. Again, there's going to be a few commercials, and also there will be they're going to have an intermission, but I'm going to fast forward some things so we can get into this because it's really good. Can you hear me? Well, sometimes they be having their mics off too. So right now they're going through it, or just coming back from like a break, or actually they're, yeah, from like a little break when they had to make sure that everything was on track. So um in a few seconds into this video, I'm not sure if you can even hear it because I'm having a hard time hearing it. Let me see, because it seems like I can't hear her. Um, okay, I don't know why, but I don't even hear this in my ear. Okay, so Woody's now walking to the stand. Can I just want to know if I'm being heard out there? Like, can you hear the video? Can you hear me? Because for some reason I'm not hearing it. Okay, so someone just said you can't hear me. I mean, you can hear everybody, but you can't hear me. I mean them. Okay, so let me see what I did. Let me see
All
what
right,
I gotta
it's
do.
Monday morning now, and
Okay,
I need to
here we
find
go.
out from you
I think it
what
was
your
just them.
intention is with regard to whether you are going to testify in this case. You have been granted immunity so that the privilege of self-incrimination is no longer
If I
relevant
sound,
because the state can't
low,
use
please let me
anything
know.
that you might say in
If
answer to their
you know what I mean,
questions
just say
or
something.
any other
just
questions
that I'm
against
low.
you.
Write something.
And you have been
If you can't catch me on
instructed
Facebook, because I believe
with
this
the
only plays
benefit of
maybe for
counsel
an hour,
as to the
you can definitely
consequences
catch
if you
me on
don't
Shout It Out,
testify.
Let's Talk About It.
So I'm asking you
on
now
my
what
YouTube
your
channel.
intention is.
And you can find me on IG as well.
You can answer my question, please. And so you're under subpoena. The state intends to question you. Are you going to answer any of those questions? Are you going to testify in this case?
Well, Your Honor, I've been pressured from the get-go. You know what I mean? Like, even when I went to the meeting with Glanville, I have told him over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? This is on my conscience. I got to keep distracting myself every day because I'm being dragged down into here because of lies that I don't told. I'm tired of y'all bothering me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that you're tired of being bothered, but you're under subpoena. It's a valid court order. So your decision at this point is, yes, I will abide by the subpoena and testify, or no, I will not abide by the subpoena and the immunity order, and I will be held in contempt for my refusal and put in jail. So which is your decision?
But I did the time for all my crimes that I was caught for.
Sure, this would not be any kind of punishment for any crimes you may or may not have committed. This would be that you have been ordered by a court to testify, and if you refuse to testify, you're held in contempt. You're saying, I refuse to listen to the court's order and obey it. And it is not a punishment, it is an incentive to have you change your mind and obey the court order. So which is your decision?
Can you explain it to me?
So we talked about it.
It's the same thing that Glanville doing to me?
It is the same order that is still in control. You have a subpoena for your testimony. That is a court order. You also have a court order that says anything that you say can't be used against you, other than if you get on the stand and lie and it amounts to perjury, you can be charged with that or with false statements. But if you refuse to testify altogether, when you're under a court order to do that, then that is considered contempt because you're saying, I don't care what the court has ordered, I'm not going to do it. And then you'll be put in jail through the end of this trial.
So
Or until you decide, you know what, I think I will testify after all.
So let me, Your Honor, I'm telling you to your face. You just said that something about it, they can lock me up for lying. I'm telling you to your face, that's all I do. And you're telling me that they can lock me up if I lie. But if I sit here and testify, so the either way it go, I'm going to jail.
No, not with regard to anything that you might testify to that might otherwise admit to a crime or admit to your involvement in a crime. That's what the immunity order does. And I'm sure Mr. Melnick has explained this to you, and I know I've explained it previously, but none of that is going to result in you being put in jail because they cannot use that evidence against you to prove any of those crimes that you might incriminate yourself about. So are you going to testify or?
I feel bad for all parties, man, and this is what happens.
Do you want to talk to Mr. Melnick again? No, okay.
All right.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so I'm going to have you step out for just a minute while we get the jury in. Mr. Melnick, if you could step out with him, please.
Okay, so we're
Just
gonna
so-
try to take this little time out. I just want to say something. Okay. the thing is that you know, I'm gonna tell you why and I think a lot of people feel differently watching this trial. Those who have been in the system, those who are on the outside now, that had to deal with all this type of um stuff, you know, to where at a young age they catch you. Oh yeah, they do. Or when you're doing the biggest or a big crime, or you might have an involvement, you may know, just being afraid, right? And you could also tell too, with situations like this, and I'm speaking about Kenneth Copeland, who was the young man that was just on the stages that we all know as Woody. You know, most times we would be like, you got a chance because of podcasters and YouTubers and streaming, you know, the news, the news that are now a part of their own, you know, entity, you know, just everybody. This is why because now you get a chance to see both sides, you know, how they line you up. Right now, if this was 10 years ago, they lined him up, you know, and he admits to things. He's done his time though. He has now done his time. And now 10 years later, 11 years later, they bringing this man back for something that he might not even have thought would ever come to surface, because I'm sure after a while, even if he didn't know the first or the second time that he was being taped, he never probably would assume that this would be used against him in any type of way. And that's what a lot of our young people don't realize. You know, you let the police intimidate you. You don't ask for a lawyer to be with you. You don't say the things that that they should say, but they don't say it because you're not teaching it. If we teach our kids to ask for a lawyer, this, that, or the third, then it's a little bit easier. But when you know, like, so if you know anything about this trial, I believe that Woody doesn't have parents. And so, you know, a lot of times, I don't know, you know, if his mother's ill, but I think his father had passed. So it's different things, I believe, that that took place with this, because now we start thinking that, you know, they're our friends, and this is what we would want, that in real life to be okay with police officers. But the thing is that they turn around and use that. So when you're lost, and you know, you go to this gang, that gang, you get involved with this, you get involved with that. There's a time in our lives, you know what I'm saying, that we have to grow up. And at this point, he probably wasn't even thinking about that. Now, during his statements, you're going to hear certain things that he says that you will understand what he's saying. Like, you know, you ask for big fish, you know, I'm a little fish, you know. So I'm gonna get back into this, and I got to get it right back on track with it, but just give me one moment. Just a minute. Okay.
Constitution of the United States. You are to disregard any comments that may have been made by Judge Glanville that may have been disparaging of any of the lawyers in this case. To maintain the integrity of the jury system, I remind you that you must decide this case based only on the evidence admitted during this trial and the law as I will explain it to you. Now, I know that you have been on a bit of a break, but prior to that break, witness Kenneth Copeland was testifying. I'm going to instruct you and admonish you now that you are to disregard any and all of Mr. Copeland's testimony and any evidence introduced during that testimony that came after the 3 p.m. break on Wednesday, June 12th, which was the last break for that day. And that is, you are to disregard any and all testimony and evidence that came after the questioning and answers about Mr. Copeland's involvement in the Atlanta Blood Gang, ABG, and his January 11th, 2015 interview with Detective Thorpe of the Atlanta Police Department. The court is going to be collecting any of the notes you wrote during that portion of the trial, and I'm going to give you a short break in just a moment to identify those notes and provide those notes to my staff attorney, Ms. Persifield. And I'd like to find out at this point in time if there are any of you who cannot sit.
And just explain real fast, and then I'm going to get back into it. So right now the judge is basically speaking to the jury, okay, and speaking, you know, wanting whatever their answers are to the last question that she had asked, or something that she was saying. And I'm just trying to fast forward it because this was very, very long today. So at this time of the night, I know no one's going to be able to listen to and hear the whole thing. So we're going to get back into it. So they go out on break. She's telling the jury that she wants them to her court attorney appointee, sorry, and then they can go on break for a second, and then they'll come back in. So that's all. I'm gonna skip back over and get to at least try to get to back to a little what he is, where he comes back in. Don't you do this, Stacy? Okay, I'm a little too far. So yeah, before they do get back in, you know, it's about to come up. I just don't want to miss it. I don't want you guys to miss it. But yeah, like I was saying in the beginning of this video, I am not an attorney. I've been on this trial for some months now, you know, and I've had videos that I wanted to upload and do lives with, but unfortunately I'm still learning the equipment, and I'm not good at it like that, you know what I'm saying? But I do know how to speak. You know what I mean? And I know how to break some things down in my own language that you'll be able to understand. You see, I had to, you know, listen over and over and over again and look things up and go to Google and all that. It's a lot of work, you know. So now let me fast forward because it seems like it's taking a little long. And so let me get up here and move this go just a little bit. Oh, here we go. Now he's back on
All right,
stand.
Mr. Copeland, I'm
Okay.
going to remind you that you are still under oath. Go ahead, Ms. Hilton.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Mr. Copeland, do you know a person by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall.
Or say you don't recall if you know someone by the name of Shell Cal?
Sustain.
Do you recall speaking with law enforcement about an individual that you know by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall.
I want to go back to December of 2014 and into January of 2015. Were you present at a gambling house in Lakewood when the shooting occurred?
I don't recall.
Let me ask you. Also, back in 2015, do you remember being at a Cascade skating ring speaking with an individual by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall.
Back in January of 2015, do you recall being at a Club Crucial and getting into a fight with an individual by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall nothing that happened years ago.
All right. Do you recall in January of 2015 having to go to the Atlanta Police Department to talk about to talk about whether or not you were involved in the murder of an individual by the name of Donovan Thomas?
Yeah,
Do you recall in January of 2015 having to go to the Atlanta Police Department to speak about your potential involvement in the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr.?
I don't recall.
Right. On January 11th, 2015, did you go to the Atlanta Police Department at about 3 o'clock in the morning?
I don't recall.
Okay. And did you speak with a detective by the name of Detective Thorpe?
I don't recall who I speak with. I don't recall.
And during that interview, did you go down there to speak with him about the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr.?
I don't recall who I spoke with.
Okay. And in that same interview, did you speak with him about not just the murder of Donovan Thomas, but events that led up to the murder of Donovan Thomas on June 10th, 2015?
I'm a liar. So you want me to remember something that I done lied about in the past? Like I don't know.
So my question for you is, did you go to the Atlanta Police Department? Is your response you don't recall?
I don't recall.
And during that interview with Detective Thorpe at the Atlanta Police Department, did you provide him your name and your date of birth?
Huh?
When you went to the Atlanta Police Department and met with Detective Thorpe, did you give him your date of birth?
I don't know.
Okay. And is your date of birth July 25th, 1991?
What?
Is your date of birth July 25th, 1991?
I think.
Okay. And during this interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you also have a middle name of Xavier?
Oh my goodness, I love Woody.
I don't know what I told. I don't remember what I told him.
Okay, I'm gonna
not trying
stop
to
right
say the
here for
wrong
1
thing, so y'all
second.
can
I'm
lock
not
me
gonna do
back
that
up.
because, you know what I mean? And those who also have the capability of doing that, they can do it. Yeah, so let me just say this. Let me come on screen real quick. You let me know if you can see me or not. So my biggest thing is, and this is what I said in the beginning of the video, now you get a chance to really see by watching YouTube and different things, you know, people posting things on Facebook, two sides to what really goes on. You know, we sit back and we call a lot of people snitches, and we do this and we do that, and then you know, people that do it, this is why. Now this is right here is, from what they said, the largest, the most expensive trial they ever had in the state of Georgia, in the longest. You know, so my thing is how you make a whole RICO out of when you all you had to do is try to find a murderer. You this is what this is really supposed to be about. You know, but then they turned it into a RICO thing, you know, and this is why young people that don't have really nowhere to go, because the places are shut down all through here, especially in Albany, it's definitely that way. A lot of stuff in different cities, you know, states, you know, shut down for our youth. They turn around and they go to their friends, the next door neighbors, and next thing you know, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you know they're chilling. They have nothing else to do. Nobody wants to help nobody to help these kids. They really don't want to do it, you know. So what happens? A police officer, you know, that's kind words, and then you get to talking and feeling like, you know, the filling in as a parent or someone you could speak to, and then turn around and throw it in your face in front of the world on top of it this go around. I think it's a dirty shame, and they should have been through this trial out. But I'm gonna get back into it.
Well, just bear with me. We're going to go through that interview, okay? Now,
Disregard the commentary by the witness.
now, during the interview, did you speak with Detective Thorpe about the issues you had with a person by the name of Kel?
I don't recall.
And did you speak with Detective Thorpe about a problem that the two of you all had in the club?
I don't recall.
Okay. And did you tell Detective Thorpe in that same interview that Kel was Nut's little brother?
I don't know if they brothers or not.
Okay, so do you know who Kel is?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. And when I say Nut, is that Donovan Thomas Jr.?
You asked me that?
I am asking you that.
Say that again.
Sure. Do you know a person that goes by the name of Nut?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Now, in that same interview,
Yeah, he is funny.
did you tell Detective Thorpe about you and Kel getting into the fight at Club Crucial?
I don't recall nothing from 2015, 14, 16, none of that.
Okay. And during that same interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you and Kel had been in a beef for maybe about no longer than 4 months? And this was back in 2015.
And he's still alive?
My question is, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you, Michelle Kel, at that time in 2015, had a beef and it was probably going on around 4 months at that time?
I tell the detective whatever they want me to say, whatever they want to hear, whatever. So if I said it to him, I said it to him. I don't recall what I said to no police.
Okay. And during that same interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that whenever y'all were in the club, y'all would literally just throw up birds at each other?
Huh?
In this January 11, 2000 interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that initially, when you and Michelle Kel were in the club, y'all never really fist fought, y'all just would throw up birds at each other?
Like I told you, before y'all called me to trial, I have lied. I made things up. I told you this before y'all brought me in this courtroom. And I'm telling you now, you asked me about 2015, I have got my life together. Y'all trying to put this on my conscience. Y'all trying to put people's life in my hands. I don't lie on people. I don't want to be here. Y'all have pressured me. I'm tired of y'all, because y'all know y'all are wrong. And y'all black people doing this to us.
And I understand that.
Leave me alone. Let me leave. Man, y'all pissing me off. Listen,
He
I
said,
don't
leave
recall
me
nothing I
alone,
said
let
to no
me
police. Stop
leave.
asking me these questions. I'm telling you, I don't
Oh,
recall.
that's right, Woody.
I understand, but we're gonna have to get through the questions. You can just continue to say you don't recall if that's what it is.
That's what you want me to say?
I want you to
Hang on
answer the
everybody for
question.
just a minute. I don't think that you were instructing him how to testify. I hope not. But
I
don't
am not.
instruct him how to testify other than truthfully.
And thank you. And that's
Any
all.
other objection, or was that covered? All right, go ahead.
If you can answer the questions truthfully, and we can move forward. Can we do that?
I don't recall.
All right. Now, going back to 2015, did you tell Detective Thorpe first about a meeting that you had with Shell Kel at the Cascade skating rink?
I don't recall.
Have you ever been to the Cascade skating rink?
I don't recall.
Is the Cascade skating rink in Atlanta?
I don't recall.
Did you tell Detective Thorpe that while at the Cascade skating ring that you met and that you talked to Shell Kel about all the beef that you had with each other?
I want to talk. I'm gonna be doing with my gun.
Okay, back in 2015, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you had a gun at the Cascade skating rink?
I would never tell the police nothing I did.
Okay. Now, back in 2015, did you meet with Atlanta Police Department detectives on at least 5 occasions after the murder of Nutt?
I met with them a lot of times.
Okay. And during each of those times, did you talk to them about what was happening between YSL and IFGANG?
Now, I was telling them whatever I think that get them out for me.
Okay. Did you go and talk to the police after your car was shot up on the highway?
It's called finessing.
Okay, but did your car get shot up while you were on the highway?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you, your child, and your child's mother get shot at while you were leaving your home?
They got shot at.
Okay, were you with them?
Not my kids and my child mama.
Were you coming out the house with you, your child, and your child's mother? Did that occur?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Did your girlfriend's father's home get shot up after Donovan Thomas got murdered?
I don't recall.
All right. So going back to January 11th interview with Detective Thorpe, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you and Kel talked about the beef that the two of you had with each other?
I don't recall.
Okay. And during that, when you and Kel spoke, Kel asked you to call Thug on the telephone. It's effect on the listener, Anna.
It's a what, I'm sorry.
Effect on the listener, Your Honor, not whether or not he called, but what he did in response to being asked that.
All right, overruled.
So, did you tell Detective Thorpe that when you met with Kel at the Cascade skating ring, he asked you to call Thug?
Okay, so this what happened.
Okay.
The police kept locking me up for whatever they could. Every time I came out door, the police was on me, and they keep bringing up Thug name. So what I did was to get them off of me. I said Thug did this, Thug did that, Thug did, because I knew they would never. I knew he didn't do it, and in my mind, I knew that the police would never go mess with him. So it was easy for me to try to throw the blame out on him to get them off of me, and that's what I was doing from all these years. I don't remember what I don't told them in the past, but my whole motive was Thug did it because I knew he didn't do it, and they couldn't lock him up, and they keep talking about Thug, 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 Thug. So guess what I'm gonna tell them? Yeah. What else you want me to tell them? Yeah, he killed this person. Yeah, he did that.
You see?
That's what I'm gonna do. And that's right now. If I walk out this thing and they say the police stop me now, hey man, give me something about Thug. Shit, I'm about to make something up about him again.
On January 11, 2015, when you went to speak to the police, when they called you, did they ask you about Thug or did they ask you about the murder of Donovan Thomas?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Did you go down to the police department on your own to tell them that you did not kill Donovan Thomas?
Did I go on my own?
Did you walk into the police department by yourself to tell them on the morning of January 11, 2015, that you did not kill Donovan Thomas?
I don't recall.
Okay, so you don't recall going to the police, or you don't recall why?
I don't recall none of that.
All right.
I just know that every time the police was after me, trying to get me, they kept bringing his name up. And I knew that they had me what I had, so I was like, yeah, whatever y'all want me to say, I would say it. And that's what I told Gaither and Dennis, and that's why they kept coming after me, because they felt like, okay, they can make a case out of him or whatever they trying to do. So they knew that, okay, we gonna get Woody today, he gonna have something to say about Thug, and it's wrong. And y'all are wrong because y'all know that I'm full of shit. And y'all keep trying to drag me in here to bring up bullshit that y'all know I don't say it. Why is y'all doing that? Leave me alone. If y'all gonna charge me for what I don't did the time for the crimes y'all caught me for.
Would you mind your language?
He said, I
while
did
we're
the
sitting here
time
in
for
court?
the
I'm trying
crimes
to.
y'all
You
done
got-
caught me
I'm-
for.
Y'all need to give me a break because my
Yo,
blood
buddy.
pressure is real high. I keep telling y'all, leave me alone.
Okay, and the quicker we get through this, the quicker we can leave you alone. Do you understand
Okay, I don't
that?
recall.
Okay. going back to January 11th, 2015.
I don't recall.
Can I finish the
Wait
question?
and listen to the question
Yeah.
first.
When you went to the Atlanta Police Department, Detective Thorpe didn't ask you about Thug. You brought up Thug. Do you recall that?
I did.
You did. Okay. So let's continue. During your meeting with Detective Thorpe, when you went down to the police department, did you tell him about the beef that you were having with Cal, with Shell Cal?
Am I here to tell the truth or to remember my lies?
I want you to tell the truth.
But you keep going to my lies, though.
That's what you, back in 2015, did you tell Detective Thorpe that this was a lie?
I done told the police whatever. Listen, when they get me, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna try to tell them whatever I can to finesse my way out of whatever situation that I'm in.
You see?
And it's only now in 2024 that you're saying that everything you said in 2015 is a lie. Is that correct?
Because I went to the feds. Y'all didn't let me out of jail till what, four years later? So if I was telling the truth then, why it took y'all so many years to try to say, okay, he was being honest or whatever the case is? If I was telling the truth, y'all would have made any case back then. Y'all knew I was lying. Y'all put me in jail. I go do my time. I get out of jail, try to get my life together. Y'all trying to drag me back into the lies that I done made. Y'all, what's up?
Can I ask you this? In 2021, when you interviewed with Investigator Viverito after you got out of prison, did you tell her that everything you said back in 2015 was the truth, but we as a state didn't believe you back then?
So my thing is, right? I went to jail. So the lies that I was telling, they didn't go for it. Y'all didn't go for it. Whoever didn't go for it. So I went to jail, did my time for it, right? And then y'all got me again. So guess what they say? Well, we're going to bring up the name again. And guess what I'm going to do? Try to finesse my way out of it again because y'all ain't touching for the lies I done told them on them in the past. So guess what? It ain't nothing to put the blame on Thug for what I did. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blame him for,
And let me,
I don't recall.
okay, and let me ask you this. You keep talking about Thug, but were you asked about other individuals as well? During all these interviews, were you asked about Shannon?
And I'm going to put the blame on him.
Okay, were you asked about Demekion Garlington?
I'm going to put the blame on him.
Were you asked about Quindarius Zachary?
I'm going to put the blame on everybody but myself.
Okay, and during this time, did all the police, every time you spoke to someone, did they tell you that they are gonna have to verify what you said?
And did they?
My
I
question
just
to
have one
you,
answer the question that she asked you.
did they tell you that we had to verify everything that you said?
I don't recall.
Okay. And when they told you they had to verify what you said, you continued to talk to the police.
Because with the knowledge that I have, it's nothing to trick the police.
But if they had to verify what you said, they had to make sure that what you said was true. How could you trick the police?
Easy.
Overruled.
How could you trick the police?
Easy.
How?
I'm telling you.
I can't tell you that.
Okay. Were you aware that the things that you talked about were verified?
Sustained. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Y'all all step back to the jury room for me. Thank you.
Okay. The same for a very long time. But I want to just say some stuff though. Now, I really didn't want to be up on this screen tonight. Tired. I didn't want to. I really didn't. But it's okay. I'm gonna just say this, right? Like I said in the beginning of the video, what I love about this type of stuff is because you can see two sides of this now. You know, for all the people that has passed away, that's gotten killed behind doing stuff like this, um, unbeknownst to themselves that this was going to happen, or that it was, you know what I mean, or the family members. I'm pretty sure um, that Woody, he's now, look at this, 10, 11 years later, trying to get his life in order, trying to do what's right or whatever. And then here goes this trial because they built the case on him thinking they were his friends. And at that time, I'm sure he didn't think they was his friend, but so maybe I'm saying the wrong word. But he was comfortable with them. They try to make him feel comfortable, and he probably really didn't know this will ever come again. But this is what happens. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens, and it's live. So like in the beginning, it was for me. It was like, dang, the fear of can anything happen to him? Because this is big. This is nothing small, and even small things are smaller people. No one likes anyone snitching. And they show some videos, a lot of videos, of a scared person, a person that you could tell was trying to finagle his way out of things. You can tell that there was plea deals made or deals made. They did a lot with him. I'm gonna go off camera again real quick. They did a lot with him, a whole lot with him. And when I say they did a whole lot with him, I mean, keeping all those recordings, things I do believe is, a lot of things I do believe is made up. I don't think it's true. Some things, I don't know. You have to judge for yourself, and we all have to judge for ourselves on this. But I can say this trial should have been thrown out a while ago. But Judge Whitaker is very. I think that she's watching. I know for a fact she is. She's been watching a lot of the podcasts. Lead Attorney. Shout out to Lead Attorney. Yeah, she watches that channel, you know what I mean. Kayla Bumpus has things that she was speaking on, but I'm not sure if she can elaborate on anything, more than what she can now, because now they have her all up in the mix of it, more than just reporting it or trying to have a podcast or whatever. Very sweet girl. But let's get back into this. I'm gonna forward it up some so that because they went on break for a while. I think it's somewhere around here. They come back in. I'll probably do it a couple of times. Okay, so that was, I think, what we left off at. Let me just make sure I'm right. Talks a little much. Okay. I'm sorry.
The same white Dodge Charger that members of If Gang shot at while you were on the highway back in late January of 2015.
Well, I don't know. I don't recall.
Okay. And matter of fact, you told your brother to make the police report because it was his vehicle that you were driving.
It's here. Little intermission on my end. Sure didn't want to do this.
Made up.
Let's come back. Okay. And they're back in, and it's just me. I'm coming. Nah, here we go. I know that judge be wanting to laugh. I know that judge is so tickled behind him sometimes. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It's not muted, so I don't know what it's doing. Oh, maybe you just can't hear it yet. Is it me or is it? No, it's not me.
Retaliating against your family members.
It was them. I mean, I know Woody tight. I got this suit on, man. This hot ass suit in this place. Man, y'all asking me all these questions and everything, man.
Wait,
I asked the question. I didn't know if you were thinking about your answer.
what? I don't know.
Okay. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Is it true that you told Detective Thorpe you were concerned about If Gang harming your family members?
I done told Detective Thorpe whatever. Tell him whatever. I don't remember what I can't specifically say what I told him. I don't know what I told him. I don't remember what I told him.
Earlier, do you recall me asking you about borrowing your brother's car?
Today?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes for the record?
Yes.
Okay. And you told me that you never borrowed your brother's car?
I paid for it, so it's my car.
Okay. In the same January 11, 2015 interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that it was your brother's vehicle and that you borrowed it from him?
I would tell Detective Thorpe anything. I know when the police question me, they want me.
In your January 11, 2015 interview, you did not go there as a suspect, did you?
That's what I was told.
But when you went there, you were never arrested, correct? On January 11, 2015?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you leave the precinct after you interviewed with Detective Thorpe on January 11, 2015?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So you were never arrested, correct?
I don't recall. I don't know.
And when you went there, did Detective Thorpe ever accuse you of killing Nut?
I don't recall what he said.
Did Detective Thorpe in that entire interview give you an opportunity to tell him what happened the night of the murder?
I can't remember what I can't remember what he specific. I know he talked about the murder, but I don't know. I can't remember what was said.
Okay, but did you have an opportunity to tell him about what you knew about what happened the night of the murder?
I told him what I made up.
So you made up going to your girlfriend's house?
I don't know if I told him that.
Okay.
I can't remember. I can't recall if I told him that.
If you told him that you were at your girlfriend's house, would that be a lie? Okay.
I don't recall.
If you told him that you borrowed your brother's car, would that be a lie?
That was my car.
Okay, but if you told him that, would that be a lie?
I don't recall.
Okay. Why would you need to lie about your brother's car, about borrowing your brother's car?
Because y'all were putting so much pressure on me that every time I was coming out the door, the police were getting me. So I knew that police was after me.
But you keep saying the police were after you. On January 11th, were the police after you? The police were not after you.
When Detective Thorpe questioned me, I don't know when was it. Like, I don't know. So when you saying January 11th, from my understanding, I thought I walked in and walked right back out. I don't even remember sitting down having no discussion with Detective Thorpe.
Okay.
So I don't know. Detective Thorpe talked to me more than one time. I don't know which time, what he said at which time. I don't remember what was said. I just know
believe
that.
him. I
I was just saying whatever that came to my
I can't
mind.
remember them
I
dates
don't know.
like
I was
that.
going to jail. I remember going to jail, trying to talk my way out of jail.
Now, I think earlier you said you do recall speaking to police multiple times in 2015. Is that correct?
Nah, I talked to them a million times.
And isn't it true that when you spoke to them on the different times you spoke to them, you told them
Different stories.
no, you told them the same stories each time you spoke with them. Do you recall that?
I did. I don't know.
Okay. Now, after January 11th, I know you don't remember the date. Do you remember speaking with police again after your car was shot at on the highway?
You said my brother made a report. What I need to talk to them about?
Did you speak to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis after your car was shot up or shot at on the highway? Do you recall going to the police department and speaking to Detective Gaither
I don't recall.
and Detective Dennis?
I'm sorry. I don't recall.
Okay. You have permission to approach?
You may.
You can come and look at that. Mr. Cole, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Stacy Exhibit 378, Yankee Alpha 1. Tell me, do you recognize, do you see yourself in that picture?
Yes.
And is there a date on that picture?
Yes.
What is the date on that picture?
The date you've been saying?
Is that January 11, 2015?
Yes.
And is that the interview room? Is that the interview room at the Atlanta Police Department?
She'll walk over there with her microphone.
With the detective?
I don't
Or she
recall.
had the words up.
You know, this time the
They would have
state
been on the
representative
screen.
to the 378 Yankee Alpha.
Excuse me. I guess she's just trying to recap
Yeah.
some things. This is
Your Honor,
just
the state
trifling.
representative Stacy Exhibit 378
trial.
Yankee Alpha 1
Anyway.
into evidence.
All right. It's admitted without objection.
Next, I'm going to show you 378 Yankee Bravo 1. Tell me, do you see yourself in that picture?
Yes.
And is that date January 28th, 2015?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time state representative Stacy Exhibit 378 Yankee Bravo 1 into evidence.
Admitted without objection.
Now, looking at 378 Yankee Bravo 1, do you see yourself, Detective Gaither, and Detective Dennis in that photo?
Yes.
All right. And on that date, do you recall, did you speak with them about your car being shot at on the highway at University and Pryor?
I don't know.
Do you recall ever speaking to police about your car being shot at on University and Pryor Road?
I don't know.
All right. In this interview back on January 28th, 2015, didn't you speak with Detective Thorpe and Detective Dennis? Excuse me, strike that. Were you arrested on January 28th, 2015?
I don't know.
Did you go into this police interview voluntarily?
I don't remember this at all.
Okay. Do you remember speaking at all, whether it was on January 28th or any other date, about the shooting on the highway to the police?
I don't recall.
Okay. In that interview on January 28, 2015, didn't you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis about being at a pool party before being shot at on the highway?
I don't recall.
Okay. And while you were at the pool party, there was an individual by the name of Bushi at that pool party.
I don't recall.
And that Bushi was the girlfriend of Yak Gotti.
I don't recall.
A lot of big
And
names
that
in
after
this.
you all left this pool party, you were driving on the highway in your brother's vehicle.
I don't recall.
Do you not recall being shot at on the highway? You don't recall telling this to the detectives?
I don't recall none of this you talking about.
Okay. So you don't recall being shot at on the highway?
I've been shot at a lot of times.
Specifically in January 2015, do you recall being shot at on the highway?
You
While in
ready?
your brother's vehicle?
I don't remember. I don't.
Do you remember telling the detectives that you were shot at on the highway while in your brother's vehicle?
I don't remember what I done told the detectives.
In the January 28, 2015 interview, didn't you tell the detectives that while you were driving on the highway, you had your radio up?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you also told them as you had your radio up, you heard pow, pow, pow.
I don't recall.
Okay. And did you also tell detectives that you then again heard another pow, pow, pow? And so you ducked down.
I don't recall.
And did you also tell detectives then the car stopped working and you tried to hit the gas, but it cut out and stopped working?
I do not recall.
In the same interview, did you then tell detectives, so the dudes, they came up to you and you was concerned because your car didn't work, because the car wasn't working?
I don't recall.
And in the same interview, did you tell detectives that you then heard some more shots even after that?
I don't recall.
And that the two cars that you saw that were shooting, one was a gray Impala with tinted windows.
I don't recall.
And then you saw another car that was also shooting at your car.
I don't recall.
Then, do you recall Detective Gaither, after you told her about the shooting on the highway, her asking you, when did this beef begin between you and Ifgang?
I don't recall.
And you also told her the story about what happened at Club Crucial the Monday before Donovan Thomas was murdered.
I don't recall.
Did you also, in this interview, when Detective Gaither asked, when did this beef begin, that Cal told you the beef began because you hung around a person named Boo,
I don't recall.
and that they were mad because they thought Boo was a rat and that you were hanging around
Yep.
a rat?
I don't recall.
Then do you also recall to telling Detective Gaither, again, with her asking about when did this beef begin, you also telling Detective Gaither in this now January 28th, 2015 interview about the shooting at the gambling house on Lakewood?
I don't recall.
And in this January 28th, 2015 interview, you actually told Detective Gaither that initially you thought another gang did the shooting at the gambling house.
I don't recall.
Okay. but then later you learned that it was Kel who did the shooting at the gambling house.
And he's still alive?
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither
No, I don't recall.
about the shooting?
I don't recall.
So now is it fair to say that both in January 11th of 2015, now in the second interview, that you told the same story about this gambling house shooting in Lakewood?
You just confused me. What you say?
Now for the second time, have you told another sub-detectives about the gambling house shooting in Lakewood?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you also recall in the same January 28th, 2015 interview, telling Detective Gaither that Kel wanted to speak with Doug on FaceTime?
I don't recall.
Okay. And this is why you were at the Cascade skating rink. You told her about the Cascade skating rink incident as well.
If I recall, I don't recall.
Okay. And that you told Detective Gaither that when Thug and Kel spoke at the Cascade skating ring, you want to be a party opponent mission with what Thug said.
Go ahead. Overruled.
Woody dog,
That
I'm
Thug
almost
told
asleep.
Kel he wanted Kel to pay for the window that he shot up.
The man, Rich, why would he? I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that that was the conversation that Thug and Kel had?
I don't recall.
And that Kel said that he wasn't going to pay for the window.
I don't recall.
Okay. And in the same January 28th interview, you also then told Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, about the fight at Club Crucial that Monday before Donovan Thomas was killed.
I bet I was a victim in every interrogation, right?
Did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis also about the Monday night fight at Club Crucial?
I don't recall.
I'm just gonna pause for a moment again,
And that you all
because this is a very long video. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the whole entire video myself, but I do know that it's long. And I just want to say again, you know, as you could see, Woody is so tired. He tired of the whole foolishness. But see, this is what happens again when we're young, or when we're trying to get out of trouble, or you know, we're trying to push something off on somebody else, or whatever is going on. But I'm talking about looking at it at two different angles, where we call someone a rat and a snitch, and they have lost their life. Now, thank God this has not happened to Woody, but you better believe we all was very concerned about it in the beginning. So we want to say back in June was his last time that he really was in the courthouse on the stand, you know. So again, you know, this is a very long video. You know, I don't know, it's a very long trial, you know. So again, let me just get back to what I was trying to say. Sorry. So when we're young, we get a chance now to look at both stands, you know, where we call someone a snitch because they got themselves in trouble. Now, all these years, they connect to you. They connect to you. But like he said, he did his time. Now, in his mind, he did his time. They never did nothing with Thug and them. They never went after the people, but not just the Young Thug, the people that he said did this, that, or the third. See, the police want us, not all police, but a lot of them want us to do their job. You know, and now this man is trying to get his life on track, I guess, you know, and here this is going on. He was supposed to be the main witness in this case. The Kenneth Copeland, who was on stand, was the main witness. Now, if you go back to it, because I was unable to actually post videos up, you know, you know, because I was still trying to learn, but and they were sounding, you know, funny, all kind of different things. But I'm gonna get back into the video, and I'll speak more afterwards because I'm not gonna tie you up any longer. Let's get back into it.
Crucial that you had money flashing and that Kel walked up to you and punched you?
Boy ain't
And
living
punch
like
you.
that. He ain't living like that.
But did you tell Detective Gaither that this occurred?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
Also, in the same January 28, 2015 interview, is it true that you also told Detective Gaither that after Kel beat you up, you ran out of the club and went outside of the club and saw Bloody J?
I don't recall.
Would he tired? Would he tired? He don't got time for the foolishness. Again, this is Kenneth Copeland. They call him Woody. He is supposed to be the main witness to sum
in the
up
same
for
January
for
28,
this Rico
2015
supposed Rico
Did you
trial
also again
that they
then
got
tell
going with Young
Detective
Thug
Gaither and Detective
and
Dennis
the
that
YSL
people
and
in
the
your crew jumped Bloody
LN,
J?
the YSN.
People in
Yeah,
my crew,
Yes.
all these nicknames,
my crew in prison.
whatever.
Okay, back in January 2015.
My crew in prison. Everybody who ran with me in prison.
Okay, back in this
With
January.
license.
All right, Mr. Kaplan, listen to the question, let her finish the
going on,
question, and then you
California?
can answer it.
In January 2015, did you tell Detective Gaither that at the same
Woody.
Monday night event at Crucial where you got beat up by
Yo,
Kel,
Woody is
that when
something
you went
else.
outside, your people jumped on Bloody J?
I don't recall.
Now, also during this same interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you then also tell them your concern about people blaming you for Nut being killed?
I don't recall.
And matter of fact, you were concerned that you always get blamed for everything.
Because I'm always into stuff.
Okay. And that you told them, so the night after Nut got killed, you came down to talk to the detective to declare your name.
I don't recall.
Look
And matter
at
of fact,
Woody.
you told Detective Gaither and Detective
What do
Dennis
you say?
that people told you that
man, I
you
wanna get
shouldn't
this
go
suit off,
down to the
man,
police
so it's
department.
cutting up all my
I don't
nuts. I got to get up out of
But you
here.
decided to go down anyway to clear
Get
your
out
name.
of here.
Yes, me. I don't recall.
Did you also tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that on the night of Donovan Thompson's murder, you actually told your girlfriend to call the police and tell them what was going on, tell them everything, because you again wanted to clear your name about being involved in Donovan Thompson's murder?
Nigga, get out of here.
I
Look
don't
at his
recall.
face. Look how he's dead.
Now, during the
He
course
ready
of
to
this
go.
same January 20th interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, do you recall them asking you questions about the relationship between Nut and Thug?
I'm from Canterville.
Okay.
I can't tell you nothing about two other people from other places.
Do you recall telling them in this interview that Nut and Thug, you did not know of Nut and Thug having a problem?
I mean, when the police question me, especially Gaither, I know she after me. So she acted like she was into what I was saying, and I was feeding her whatever came to my mind.
So,
They try to make it make sense.
so why wouldn't you say that they had problems with each other versus that they did not have problems with each other?
Because I'm trying to make up a story. I don't know what nobody have. I don't know. I don't recall what I even said to her. I just know that anytime they question me, I'm trying to tell them anything to get them out my face.
Now, you said that you're from Mechanicsville. Do you know where Thug, what part of the city Thug is from?
I don't know. At the time, but I just met Thug when I got out of jail. We not from the same neighborhood. I don't know where you, like, Cleveland Avenue, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. And what about Nut? Did you know what neighborhood Nut was from?
I don't know.
Now, after Nut was killed, did you go to Miami?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in the same
Yeah.
interview that you went to Miami after
Inside and on the outside.
Nut was killed?
I tell the investigation anything. I don't recall what I told them.
And when you were in Miami, were you there with Shannon Stillwell?
I don't recall.
Okay. What about Quindarius Zachary?
Who?
Little D from Cleveland.
I don't think me and him ever traveled together. I don't recall.
Do you recall him being in Miami while you were in Miami?
I don't recall being in Miami.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you, your daughter, you and your child's mother went to Miami to lay low after the shooting of Donovan Thomas?
Back then, I tell so many lies. I tell 15 lies in 1 second. I don't recall what I said, and I'm not even trying to remember what I said either.
Do you recall telling, or didn't you tell Detective Gavin Dennis that Thug actually told you to come down there with him
I don't
to
recall.
Miami to lay low?
Thug can't tell me nothing.
And you also told Detective Gaither that, again, after he told you to come down there and lay low to Miami, that you and your girl, you stayed down there for a week in Miami.
I don't recall what I done told the police. But for me telling you now, there's nobody walking this earth and tell me what to do.
Is going to Miami a bad thing?
No, which I just told you, you bring up something that you saying that I said to the police, and I'm telling you the truth right now. I lied to them. So I don't know what the heck, I don't know. Like, go ahead.
So have you never been to Miami?
I've been to Miami a lot.
Okay. So back in 2015, did you ever go to Miami?
I can't remember if it was 15 or 14.
Let me make it more specific. After Donovan was killed, did you go to Miami?
Man, I can't recall. And honestly, God,
I can't recall. You see, this is what I'm talking about. The flip mode, you know, and this is what makes it kind of hard for civilians to, you know, connect
Now,
with police officers and
when you
things like
spoke
this.
to
This is the type of stuff
Detective
because the
Gaither
flip
and
mode.
Dennis, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you thought Thug was trying to get rid of you?
What you mean?
Did you ever tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you thought Thug was trying to get rid of you?
I don't think you heard me the first time when I told you I don't run behind nobody. I'm from Mechanicsville.
Okay.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So what does being from Mechanicsville have to do with my question?
Never ran,
They
never
mean-
will.
I don't run behind nobody else.
That's what he's saying.
I didn't ask you about running behind anyone.
Saying something about getting rid of me, like you can't get rid of me.
Okay. So is it your testimony that you did not tell Detective Gaither and
I
Detective
don't know.
Dennis?
I don't know what I done told the investigators, detectives, whatever you want to call them.
Is it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you actually spoke to Thug about the fact that you thought he was trying to get rid of you?
I could tell the investigator anything because I know one thing. They talking to me, so they gotta go with what I say. So I don't recall what I
Must be
told
really
them.
Cool. Yeah, it must be cool in there.
I would tell them anything that come to my head.
Okay.
I don't recall what I said to them.
Do you recall didn't you tell Detective Dennis and Detective Gaither that Thug called you and said, bruh, they say I got a hit out on your head, bruh?
I
Do you
told you,
want-
I'm a play a victim in everything. I'm a victim.
Okay.
I'm a,
And,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna justify myself by being a victim.
Okay. And your response to him was like, you do? And then y'all both started laughing.
They don't even make sense. I don't recall none of that. Saying it, me telling it. I don't remember specific what I said to any investigator. I know I told them whatever. I feel that I can convince them to let me go.
Tell him what he said. Leave me alone.
Now I want to go back to going to Miami after Donovan was killed. Isn't it true that you told Detective Gates and Detective Dennis that while you were in Miami, initially Thug treated you like a brother, but then things felt different?
Did you got proof of me being in Miami?
Did you provide us your phone number so we can get your phone records, Mr. Copeland?
Which phone?
The phone you had in 2015, did you give police your phone number so we can get your phone records?
I don't recall. Now you're talking about.
Okay. Did you give police your phone number in any of these interviews so that we can get your phone records?
Which phone?
Your phone that you had back in 2015.
I had more than one phone.
Okay. So did you give any phone number to the detectives back in 2015 so we can get your phone records? Any phone you have?
Shit. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't recall.
Did you, matter of fact, tell the police to go get your phone records so that they can confirm where you were on the night of Donovan Thompson's murder and afterwards?
I probably, I don't know. I probably did. Ain't no telling.
Okay. And did Detective Gator tell you that that was one of the things that she was going to have to verify was your phone records and where your phone puts you?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
Back in 2015, do you remember your phone numbers from 2015?
Shit, I don't even know my phone number now.
Okay. Did you remember if you had a Sprint phone
I got T-Mobile.
back in 2015? Did you have Sprint?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember what phone service I had.
All right. Did you ever live off of Oakland Drive or use an Oakland Drive Southwest address?
You said, have I ever used the Oakland Drive address?
Yes.
Um,
And I don't want to put the full address on the record, but have you ever used the address of Oakland Drive?
I don't know if I use it on anything. I know I use it probably getting out of jail.
So is there an
I don't,
address?
I don't know. I don't recall. I don't know.
Do you
I don't
have
know, y'all
an
lock me
address
up
that you
too
used
much.
off of Oakland Drive Southwest?
I did.
Okay. And does the number of the address begin with an 8?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why are you asking me these questions? I'll pause in a minute. I'm just waiting to hear some more about what all the questioning, because it's like I said, this is long, and I carry it over to my YouTube channel.
Going back to
We'll have it,
January
but,
2015
I don't know if it's stopped
interview.
on Facebook.
Isn't it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that while you were in Miami, he wasn't happy with you being around him anymore? It felt different.
Who?
That Thug, you weren't Thug. That Thug wasn't happy with you being around. It felt different to you.
I don't recall. I don't recall being in Miami. Dr. Nut was killed.
Bless you. Now, in that same interview that you had with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you speak with them about, do you recall talking to them about Moontunk and that you encouraged Moontunk that he should come to the police as well regarding Donovan Thompson's murder?
I don't recall what I told no investigators.
Okay. Isn't it true that you told them that because people were calling his name in the murder, he should come down and speak to the police?
The only truth it is, I made these things up. I don't know about nothing going on.
Why would you need to make up something about Moonsoon coming down to clear his name from a murder?
I'm speaking in a general, like you got me up here like I know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so I'm asking you now.
I don't remember what I don't told. I keep telling you that you can't keep asking me what I told the police from lie to the police. I can't remember no lie.
Mr. Copeland,
Yes.
I think that she understands, generally speaking, what your position is with regard to what you remember and what you don't, but she's still going to ask you specific questions and you need to answer the specific questions also. And you don't have to preface every one of them with your general position about it.
Yes, ma'am. But Your Honor, may I speak? I'm not trying
Wait
to.
till there's another
To
question.
be
on the
honest with
floor.
you,
And I understand.
I'm not trying to be
way
difficult.
She's
I
handling
understand.
him,
Go ahead,
Judge
Ms.
Whitaker,
Thank you, Your Honor.
because she knows this is a tough thing. You know, we talking about these.
Now,
we talking
Earlier, I
about some
asked you about an
serious
individual by
stuff.
the name
For
of
people
Bloody
that got
J.
money,
Do you know what Bloody
and
J
they just eating up
I heard
Thug
of
and the
him.
rest of it. They just eat all their
Do
money up.
have you ever spoken to Bloody J?
I doubt it.
Okay. Back in the same January interview that you had with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, do you recall telling Detective Gaither, or didn't you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you were trying to hook Bloody J and Thug back together?
How would I don't recall.
Okay. And matter of fact, did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Thug and Bloody J had a falling out because Bloody J joined If Gang?
If you going off what I said in the past, do I told the investigators? That's crazy. I do not remember what I said. You can't get me up here to try to remember what I said to them. I don't remember what I said. You can ask me these step by step, but my response is my response. You want me to be honest? You want me to lie? I can't answer your question because I can't remember what I said. So I don't recall.
So I'm gonna ask you now. Bloody J and Thug stopped because Bloody J started messing with If Gang?
Thug behind you, ask him.
I'm asking you.
Huh?
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
So
Thug right
why
behind you.
would
Ask
you
him.
tell Detective
You
Gaither and Detective
Woody.
Dennis that?
Ma'am?
Why would you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that?
I don't, I can't recall.
Okay.
Here we go.
Now,
Ooh, what am I doing? Oh shucks.
going back to the January 28th interview.
This be why people don't be wanting to take stuff to trial with a jury. It's long, I guess. Seeing it for yourself now.
Of course, indulge us for one moment. After speaking with them briefly about the murder, did you then go into more details about the shootout well, not the shootout, but the shooting of your car on the highway? Do you recall telling them about who you believed shot at your vehicle on the highway?
I don't recall. Can I tell you what I do remember?
Is that about the shooting on the highway?
No.
Then no, not right now.
Okay.
Or let me ask you this: do you remember what you told Detective Gaither in January of 2015?
No, I was gonna tell you what I remember from when Nut was killed.
Okay. Tell me what you remember the night that Nut was killed.
I remember everybody said I killed him. That's all I remember.
And that's the only thing you remember.
That's all I remember. I don't remember nothing that night. I don't remember where I was. I don't remember what I told the investigator. I thought that when they called me down there, I thought I walked in and he let me walk right back out. I don't remember sitting down talking to him. I don't remember him doing no ballistic. I don't remember him. I remember he said one thing and he left. He said, the man sitting on the street and everybody saying you did it. He like, man, I still got a body on the street. That's all I remember. I thought I walked in and walked back out. I don't remember nothing. Like,
And that was the first time when you went to go speak with Thorpe.
I don't even know if it was, I know.
Yeah, I think something happened with the mic.
That we are watching this together
With,
at the same time, so
All of us.
I just feel like Woody,
of course.
you jumping the gun. You know.
I don't have a way to, yeah.
So it looks like they're about to take another break. Yeah, she turned the mics off. So let me just go on and say what I was gonna say. Give me a second. Okay. So once again, like I was saying in the beginning, in the middle of the video, us as our youth should be from home, school, everywhere, trained and spoke to about, you know, how to do this type of stuff. Because when you don't have or when you don't feel love and you just want it from the world, the streets, you know, the people you grew up with, the people around you, you know, and automatically it's bigger than 5 people. It's a gang. That's how they're gonna see it. But we know that the biggest gang is already in the White House. The blue and the red was there already, Democrat, Republican. So that's a whole nother topic. But getting back to how they're trying to diminish this man's life, or that's what it seems like. And so you can't even hate Woody, you know, because you can't be mad, but yeah, if you've seen the videos, you be like, dang, word, you know, but you get to see this playing out on both ends, the good part of it and the bad part of it, like, or how you get trapped up. Let's say that, how someone can get trapped up. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna skip through here and get back into more of the video because he was only out for a minute, a little second there. So we're right here. Excuse me. Again, I'm getting used to this. Okay.
And that the reason why you purchased the gun was to defend your house.
I don't recall.
Okay. And that you actually told the detective you don't want any trouble. You just want to protect your home. Do you recall telling Detective Gates and Detective Dennis that?
I don't recall.
And in January 2015, had you been convicted of a felony prior to January 2015?
Huh?
Prior to January 2015, had you previously been convicted of a felony?
I don't know. What you mean?
Do you remember when you were first convicted of a felony?
After my mama died?
About when was that?
After she died?
Okay, when did your mom pass away?
2008.
All right. So if you caught your first felony after 2008, is it safe to say in 2015 you had been convicted of a felony?
I don't recall.
All right. When you told the police that you had a gun in this January interview, were you arrested for telling them that you had a gun in this January interview?
Was I arrested in January?
Yes,
What year?
2015.
No, I got locked up in February.
All right. So even after you told them that you had a gun, the police in this January interview did not arrest you.
I ain't had no gun.
Did you tell the detectives you had a gun?
Mm-mm. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't think I'll tell them I had one.
Now, in the same January 2015 interview, you also told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about this meeting with an individual by the name of Mo, who wanted you and Thug killed. Is that true?
How would I know? I don't know.
Okay. You don't know about the meeting, or you don't know if you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about this so-called meeting?
How would I know somebody want us killed?
Okay. So is it true though that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about this meeting with
I
Mo?
told and them people anything that just like right now, me, you can have a whole conversation. I tell you about some stuff that never took place, and you'll swear that everything I'm speaking on was the God and it's true.
Okay. But now you've told two detectives, first Thorpe, now Gaither and Dennis, so excuse me, three detectives, about this meeting that Mo had and that they were going to kill you and Thug.
I'm gonna play.
All right, I think that was supposed to be a question.
I'll
Did
rephrase
you
it.
have it implied? Is that right at the end of it?
Yes.
Try to just form it into a question.
Yes, Your Honor. Isn't it true that you told Detective Thorpe and Detective Gaither and Dennis about this meeting that Mo had in which you and Thug were supposed to be killed?
I tell you, I'm gonna play a victim in every situation.
All right. And you actually gave them details about this meeting. Is that correct?
I don't know what I told the investigators.
Matter of fact, you told the investigators somebody else that was in there that felt like I deserved to know. They came back and they said, hey, I had to get rid of everybody, bro. But they said they want to kill you. They're going to take me to a gas station and kill me. Like, who's saying it? Mo, and everybody said, woo. Bloody J was on the phone with Mo, standing next to the person that was telling me. Said he ain't know the name of the person that was talking. And after everybody, I just said, kill him. And Bloody J said, woo. And everybody said, woo, woo. As in, that's a confirmation that they were supposed to go and kill you or have you killed.
Things don't work that way. When you speaking on doing something like that, you don't be open about it. So this self-explanatory that it's a lie. You don't discuss killing people with multiple people. So you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're not gonna be telling everybody you're gonna do it. I made it up. Telling you that.
And did you tell the detectives that that occurred at a gang meeting that you were not at? So someone at the gang meeting told you about what happened at the gang meeting.
I don't recall what I told the investigators, but I know that the things that anytime that they sat me down and they tried to question me, I knew I was about to go to jail. And even the times I didn't go to jail, I knew that I had done something stupid and I thought they was on to me. So I was trying to throw them off my trail.
And that this meeting happened before Donovan was killed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. And that the reason why they wanted to kill you is because they thought that you had Bloody J jumped.
Huh?
The reason why they wanted to kill you is because you had Bloody J jumped.
I believe that if any gang wanted to kill me, I'd be dead by now.
And you also, in this same interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, you told Detective Gaither and Dennis that you actually texted Bloody J and asked him whether or not they had a hit on you,
No.
but he never responded to you.
I
No,
don't remember. I don't recall. I don't know nothing about none of that. I wouldn't have their number and they wouldn't have mine.
Now, back when you were interviewing with the detectives, both Thorpe and now the second interview with Gaither and Dennis, were you the only individual in the room with the detectives?
I don't know.
Looking at that picture, are you the only person in the room with the detectives?
This one?
Yeah, I want you to look at 378, Yankee Bravo and Yankee Alpha.
It looked like I'm in there by myself beside with the police.
Okay. And this is when you're telling the detectives all the things that I'm asking you about, correct?
I don't recall what I done told them.
Hey,
Now, do you know an individual, Rich, who goes by the name Rich Homie Quan?
Who is that?
Do you know a person who goes by the name of Rich Homie Quan?
Rich Homie Coin?
Yes.
Oh, the rapper?
He raps.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know him? Have you ever spoken to Rich Homie Quan yourself?
No,
Do you recall the
I don't recall speaking to him.
Do you recall talking to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in this same interview about conversations you had with Rich Homie Quan?
No, I do not recall having a conversation about Rich Homie Coin.
And that Rich Homie Quan, you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Rich Homie Quan was a part of If Gang.
I don't recall.
Okay. And that you told Detective Gaither and Dennis that Rich Homie Quan felt torn between being with If Gang and being friends with Thug.
Again, I'm just telling police whatever that convinced them that I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. So why would you bring Rich Homie Quan into any of it? Why would that be
Because they,
necessary?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't hear you.
Why would it be necessary to even talk about Rich Homie Quan
So
to the police?
So when the police question me, my whole motive is to get them off of me. So if they sitting me down, laughing, hee ha ha, like you doing when y'all was up there asking me, and I told you I was lying. This is the same thing going on. They sit here. I don't know about them asking me about Rich Homie Coin or nothing. But if they bring up a name, if they ask me something, I'm going to come up with something that act like I'm in the midst, like I know what's going on. I don't sit around and gospel with people. I don't sit in people's faces. Like, I'm out in the streets. I like to be I like to be outside. I'm not sitting around trying to listen to what nobody got to say.
Okay. But when you originally went to the police, it was to talk about being shot at on the highway. So what would anything about Rich Homie Quan, why would you need to talk about Rich Homie Quan at all?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Okay. Isn't it true that that you told the detectives that Rich Homie Quan said to you, we the same set. You right here hitting these niggas, this and that. So we talk. We the same set. I just can't turn my back on them. Like it ain't that, bro. This is what you're telling him. You supporting these niggas. Bro, I'm telling you, the more you supporting them, the more they gonna come out and do that. if you leave them alone, then everything gonna go away. And this is what you're telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that you said to Rich Homie Quan.
So let me, Gaten was a gang investigator, and what she do is she sit in the neighborhood, watch us all day, and she put cases on it. So I know Gaten to sit there, and so when I'm interacting with Gaten, the main thing go through my mind is to convince her that I know what I'm talking about. That was my motive. So be bringing up Rich Homie Quan ain't never been like that in my eyes. So for me to be, I'm just trying to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about. What they said they want a big fish, and he's a big rapper. So shit, I'm trying to make up whatever I can come up with. I don't know. I don't remember what I said to no police. It's all stuff I just off the top of my dome. You ask me a question right now, I go out the top of my dome, and I convince you that I'm telling the truth.
Okay, so in response, you said that Rich Homie Quan asked for your protection. And he said, you told detective, then he's like, why don't you protect me, bro? We need y'all, bro. I need y'all to protect me. And you said, how the hell are we gonna protect you?
Can you say it again?
Sure. In the same interview with Detective Gaither, you said after you spoke with Rich Homie Quan asked for your protection.
He a millionaire. What he need my protection for?
Why would you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that?
They the police and they trying to get me.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither about Rich Homie Quan's father's barbershop being shot up?
I don't recall nothing I said to no investigators
And
or detective.
he thought that someone by the name of Tay shot up his father's barbershop?
I told you I did it.
No.
Oh,
You told the detectives that Rich Homie Quan thought that a person named Tay shot up his father's barbershop.
well, I probably did. Ain't no telling.
But you were convinced that it wasn't Tay that shot up the barbershop.
What you mean?
You told Detective Gaither Dennis that you don't think it was Tay that shot up his father's barbershop.
So I told him he did it, or I told him he didn't do it. Which one is it?
You told them that Rich Homie Quan thought that Tay did it.
Okay, so then I told the police,
Correct.
and then I told him that he didn't do it.
That you did not think he did it.
Objection, Your Honor. Are these questions?
Yes, they
Uh,
are. You can
Do you
tell
need me
by
to
the fact
repeat?
that her voice goes up at the end.
How is California?
Well, it may be that too, but yes, these are questions.
Do you need me to repeat it? Okay. In your interview with Detective Gaither, did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Rich Homie Quan thought an individual by the name of Tay shot up Rich Homie Quan's father's barbershop?
I don't recall.
Okay. In that same interview, did you also tell them that you did not think that Tay shot up the barbershop?
You confusing me.
I'll repeat it one more time and I'll separate it. In this interview with Detective Gaither, did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Rich Homie Quan thought
Overruled, because it's certainly been asked twice or more, but it hasn't clearly been answered. He's sitting there saying right now, I don't know what you're asking me. I'm confused. So I'm going to permit her to try to break it down and ask it again.
So I'll start over. In this interview with Gaither and Dennis, did you tell Gaither and Dennis that Rich Homie Quan thought that a person by the name of Tay shot his father's barbershop?
I don't recall what I told the police,
Okay.
but I don't know.
All right. Now, my second question is, in that same interview, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis you did not believe that Tay shot up the barbershop?
I don't know. I don't remember what I said to them.
And I should ask this, do you know an individual, Tay, who's from Bankhead?
There's a mean Tays in them.
Okay. Do you know a Tay from Bankhead?
I take from Bankhead,
Yes.
not out the top.
In this same interview, did you tell Detective Gaither about this individual named Tay from Bankhead?
I don't know a Tay from Bankhead.
Do you know a Tay from the west side of Atlanta?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
How many Tays do you know from the west side of Atlanta?
Too many on the count. But not from Bankhead.
It's way too many. I travel too much. It's too long.
Now, back in January of 2015, did you ever learn about, strike that, do you know someone that goes by the name of Lucci?
Who?
Lucci. A rapper by the name of YFN Lucci.
They got a lot of players' names coming up in here.
What about him?
Do you know an individual by the name of YFN Lucci?
I don't know in person.
Okay. Have you ever met this individual?
You said, have I ever met him?
Yes.
Nope.
When you say you don't know him personally, what do you mean?
Because you said, have you ever met? We never shook hands. I never met him.
Okay. How would you describe knowing YFN Lucci?
He's a rapper.
Okay. Do you know him outside of being a rapper?
No.
Okay. In 2015, were you aware of his mother's home being shot at twice, excuse me. You're shaking your head.
I don't know nothing about him.
Okay. Do you recall in this January interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis talking to them about Lucci's mother's house being shot at?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that people thought that you shot up Lucci's mother's house?
I don't know nothing about it.
Okay. Do you recall in this same interview back in January of 2015 with Gaither and Dennis that you were with Big Boo when Lucci's manager called trying to find out who shot up Lucci's mother's house?
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall during this same interview telling Detective Gaither that when the manager called Big Boo, you were present and overheard the conversation?
I don't recall.
And in the same interview, you told Detective Gaither that the manager told Big Boo that he had $20,000 for whoever shot at Lucci's mother's house.
I don't know nothing about it.
Okay. And that you actually took the phone from Big Boo and told them that you had nothing to do with shooting up Lucci's mother's house.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember telling the detectives about
Oh, I don't
this?
recall.
Did that occur?
I don't know.
You don't know if you were present with Big Boo and took the phone away from him?
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Why would you need to tell Detective Gates and Detective Dennis that if that did not occur?
'Cause these things I'm hearing in the street, so I'm trying to convince them to get off of me.
specifically, didn't you tell Detective Gaither that when you took the phone, you said, man, I ain't did nothing like that, bro. You know, don't scream my name. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I ain't said he did. I ain't do that. I don't care about none of that. I didn't do that.
I don't recall.
And did you actually tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you were concerned because you thought that Boo was going to set you up and tell people that you shot Lucci so he can get the $20,000?
Huh?
Did you, in the same interview, tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you thought Boo would have set you up and told people you shot at Lucci mother's house to get the $20,000?
I don't know nothing about that. I don't recall.
And after that phone call that with Big Boo, you were so upset that you had Montauk take you home because of that phone call.
I don't know. I don't recall.
And you also told Detective Gaither that when you got into the car with Montauk after this phone call, you told Montauk, Boo tripping. Boo gonna try to get, you know what I'm saying? And Montauk said, we gotta stay away from them.
Nah, I don't recall. I supposed to be saying this stuff?
Yes.
Oh, nah.
And were you the only person in the interview room with Gaither and Dennis based on those pictures that are in front of you?
I was the only person in the room when I was telling you I made these lies up too.
Okay. Of course it don't. Just a moment. All right. In the same interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you tell them about your relationship or your friendship with Little D from Cleveland and Shannon?
Huh?
In this interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, do you recall telling them about your friendship with Little D from Cleveland and Shannon?
No, I don't know nothing about that.
Okay. Is it true that you told them that the people that you're around, that you often hang around back in January 2015, is Little D from Cleveland and Shannon?
No, I don't recall.
And matter of fact, did you say specifically to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, I keep a couple people around, you know what I'm saying? And Dennis asked who? And you said Little D from Cleveland and Shannon.
Trying to convince him. If I did say it, I don't recall. Like I don't told the police so much stuff like this just made up. Like I don't remember what I don't told them. So
And then you also said sometimes Moonsoon may come around, but the primary people you hang with is Shannon and Little D from Cleveland. I mean, excuse me, Little D from Mechanicsville.
but let you tell it, you every time you say I'm about to go home, I'm about to go home Moontoon. So it seemed more like I be Moontoon more than I be with anybody else.
Okay,
From based off what you saying today. So you know it's all made up.
all right. Did you also hang with Moonsoon, Little D from Mechanicsville, excuse me, I said Cleveland, and Shannon?
I hang with myself. I don't hang with nobody. I don't run behind nobody. I don't know none of that.
Okay, all right. Well, back in 2015, didn't you tell Detective Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, I really have my trust in him. I wouldn't want nobody around me but Little D, and this is Little D from Mechanicsville. You know, Little D ain't gonna turn his back on me.
That's cap.
You said that that's cap. What?
I don't remember saying it.
Do you remember, God bless you, when we were here back around June 10th, June 11th, that you said that Little D was the person you called your son?
Who?
Do you remember back in June of this year, around June 10th, June 11th, stating that Little D was like your son?
No.
Okay. No, you don't recall saying that?
I never said the deeper Cleveland Avenue with my son.
Not Cleveland, Little D from Mechanicsville.
What y'all talking about?
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall.
All right. I'll ask you and then you can answer it truthfully, I hope. Do you recall in June of this year saying that Little D from Mechanicsville is like your son?
I don't know.
No, you don't remember saying it? No, you didn't say what does I don't know mean?
What you want me to say?
I want you to answer the question.
What's your question?
I'll ask it one more time. In June of this year, when you were here
This
the
year
last
right
time-
here?
This year right here, when you were here before, June 10th, June 11th, do you recall telling me when I asked you about Little D from Mechanicsville, telling me he's like your son?
When I said I birthed him?
Yes.
So just being sarcastic.
Right. But that was to talk about the closeness of your relationship, correct?
What you mean?
When you say you birthed him, were you trying to what were you trying to indicate when you said you birthed him? What did you mean by that?
That was just an anger statement I made.
Okay. Did you at one point in time have a close relationship with Little D from Mechanicsville?
I don't recall.
Okay. All right. Now, going back to this January 2015 interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you speak to them about Thug seeing you talk to the police regarding Donovan Thomas's murder?
Did I speak to them about thugs? I don't recall.
Do you recall telling the detectives that Thug thought you were snitching because you were talking to the police?
Huh?
In the same January 2015 interview, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you thought Thug thought that you were snitching because you had been talking to the police after Donovan Thomas's murder?
They don't make sense. So I don't recall.
Okay. Didn't you tell the detectives in this January 2015 interview, Gaither and Dennis, I think I went wrong when I let Thug know that the detectives keep calling me.
You keep talking about what? You finished?
I am.
You keep talking about what I told the investigators. Listen, I know they want to lock me up. I see them following me everywhere I go. I'm in the restaurant eating, they not eating. And they got me down here for questioning. I know they only question me to trap me up to get me. So I told them anything that came to my mind, or whatever the case is, they don't make sense.
When you walked into the police department and to talk to Gaither and Dennis, you walked in on your own, correct?
Most of the time, they question me. I was in handcuffs. I don't.
In early January, in early 2015, isn't it true you met with the detectives 5 times?
Let me tell you more than that.
Okay.
I don't know how many times I done met with them. I just know that they police question me every time that I was in handcuffs.
You have, in front of you, you have 2 dates, correct? Is that January 11th and January 28th?
Yes.
Permission to approach?
You may.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked as Stacy Exhibit 378, Yankee Charlie 1. Does that date say February 20th, 2015?
Yes.
Now I'm gonna show you 378, Yankee Delta 1. Does this say February 21st, 2015?
Yes.
And I'm gonna show you 378, Yankee Echo 1. Does this say June 10th, 2015?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at 378, Yankee Charlie, Yankee Delta, Yankee Echo, do you see yourself in those 3 pictures?
Yes.
Okay. You're right, this time to say like the tender 378, Yankee Charlie 1, Yankee Delta, 378, Yankee Delta 1, and 378, Yankee Echo 1 is the evidence.
Admitted without objection.
Now, looking at these 5, on January 11th, were you in handcuffs when you went to go speak with the detectives?
Mm-hmm.
On January 11th, when you walked
You
in,
said January 11th?
yes,
Oh, okay.
were you in handcuffs?
Nah, I'm like this.
Okay. Looking at January 28th, were you in handcuffs when you went to go speak with the detectives?
No, I'm like this.
All right. On February 20th, were you in handcuffs when you and Deshaun went to go speak with the detectives?
No, I'm like this.
Okay. And were you only arrested on February 21st when you went to speak with the detective because you're in a blue jumpsuit, correct?
Yes.
And on June 10th, you were arrested because that's when they arrested you in the house, correct?
You said what now?
June 10th is when they arrested you at your home, correct?
With the white shirt on?
Yes.
Oh, my hands up on the table. I don't know.
But do you recall June 10th being the day that they came to your house and arrested you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes? You said, I just need to know, is that a yes for the record?
Oh, I think so.
Okay. Is that the day that you went to jail and you didn't get out till 5 years later?
I started with.
On June 10th. Did you get arrested on June 10th?
Yeah.
Okay. So out of all 5 interviews, you were only arrested 2 times. Is that correct?
I guess.
All right. So each of the other times, besides February 21st and June 10th, you walked freely in and out of the Atlanta Police Department. Is that correct?
Wait a minute. What you mean by that?
I'm sure I'll repeat it. Would you agree that in early 2015, you went to the police, you talked to the police 5 times?
No, more.
Do you have 5 interviews right there?
Yeah, but they had me in the back of their police cars too.
Okay. How many times did you go to the Atlanta Police Department?
On my own?
In 2015, we're gonna talk about just generally 2015.
I don't know. I don't recall.
All right. Do you see 5 different times in front of you?
I got 5 papers in front of me.
Okay. And would you agree they're all different dates?
Yeah, they all got different dates.
All right. And 3 of those 5, you are not in handcuffs. Is that correct?
Yeah, 3 of them I'm not in handcuffs.
And only 2 of them you are in cuffs, or you knew that you were arrested that day. God bless you.
I guess.
All right. The 2 times that you were arrested, is February 21st. Is that what you have on the blue jumpsuit?
Okay, right there.
And June 10th when they arrested you at the house. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes for the record?
Yes.
All right. So the other 3 times, January 11th, you came into the Atlanta Police Department on your own, correct?
He called me down there.
Okay. And you voluntarily went down there after he called you, correct?
Mm.
After you spoke
He
with,
he took my baby mama down there and told me I need to be down there.
and you decided to go, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And after you interviewed with him, you walked out, correct? And you left. You're shaking your head for
Yes,
me.
yes. I left.
Now, on January 28th, you also walked into the police department, correct?
I don't know nothing about it. I don't remember that at all.
Okay. But is it safe to say that you left because you were not arrested in January of 2015?
Yeah, I went locked up in January.
Okay. And then February of 2015, that's when you walked into the police department with you and Deshaun, correct?
I think.
And do you remember that being the night or the early morning hours after people shot at you, Deshaun, and your baby?
He was fit to put me in handcuffs.
But did he put you in handcuffs?
Cause the other police told, I don't know if it was that one right there, but one of the police told him, he whispered something to him. Cause I told him, you gonna lock me up, nigga, go ahead and get out of the way.
And they decided not to lock you up, correct?
Cause he wanted the gun.
But he did not lock you up, correct?
The next day he did.
Answer this question. On February 20th, did he lock you up?
He told me I got 24 hours to get him the gun.
Okay. And you were able to leave that interview room to go find the gun, correct?
Finessed him.
You were able to leave, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes for the record?
Oh, yes.
All right. So when you keep saying they only want to keep locking you up, you only were locked up 2 times.
Well. No.
Okay. Do you recall today you said you spoke with police in the back of police cars? Do you recall how many times you did that back in 2015?
I don't know how many times.
When you were inside the back of the police cars, did they release you or did they take you to jail?
They released me.
Okay. So again, even those times you were not locked up.
Cause I finessed him again.
All right. Now, going back to what I asked you about your belief that you thought Thug thought you were snitching. Do you recall telling the police that every time you spoke to the police, excuse me, let me strike that there were times when the police would call you and you were in Thug's presence. And you were with Thug when the police would call you.
What you mean? You gotta be more specific.
Sure. In January of 2015, when police were calling you about Donovan Thomas's murder.
After he was killed, I wasn't around that much for him to be able to see me answer the phone or talk to any police or anything. What you talking about?
Did you tell the police when they were asking you about Thug thinking you were snitching, you told the police, because like every time he called, it's like I was right there in front of him and I had walked up. I was like, that was the detective. Like, shit, they trying to find out who. And he just felt like I was just making stuff up because I always stutter.
So when you snitching is based off the truth and off facts. Lying and trying to finesse your ways are different things. So there would never be the case if he concerned about me snitching. So you only snitching if you telling the police the truth.
And back in 2015, when they were calling you and they were asking you about Nutt's murder, were you telling them that you were not involved in Nutt's murder?
I was telling them everybody. I told them everybody did. I told them Shell killed them. I told them all type of people did. I didn't know. I don't know. Y'all just pick and choose what y'all want to take and use. Did I not say Shell did it?
Did you tell them that you heard that could have been a rumor?
I told you it was a rumor that they said I did too, right?
Right. And you didn't kill him, correct?
How many times you gonna ask me that?
Okay, then. So if you're talking about rumors, the rumors aren't true. You just told them what you heard.
I'm saying what y'all want to pick and choose with. Okay, I don't recall.
And do you recall, because you keep saying that you wanted to finesse the detectives, is that fair? Do you recall them asking you about an event, a shooting on Spring Street where Thug's girlfriend was having a party at a house or at a hotel on Spring Street?
I never heard anything about that a day in my life.
Okay, and do you remember telling them that you knew nothing about those shooting on Spring Street?
I guess I don't know. I don't know what I done told the investigators.
So if you want to finesse them, why wouldn't you just act like you knew about it and just tell them about it?
Because I didn't hear nothing about it. If I would have heard something from like the street saying, I could have been able to, act like I was there, act like I knew, but I couldn't because I never heard anything about it.
Right, but if you're trying to finesse them and you just tell them whatever they wanted to hear,
Right.
you could have just told them, yeah, I heard about it.
So I couldn't because I wouldn't be able to speak on nothing where it'd be like, okay, like let's say if they would say 2 girls got shot in the butt. I would be like, yeah, I was there, man. The 2 girls got shot in the butt. So I couldn't because I never heard nothing about the story at all to be able to say,
But
act as if I knew.
But if you're finessing the police, that means you're just lying anyway, right?
So to finesse the police, you got to act like you have knowledge. You got to act like you know.
So if you could have just said, yeah, I heard about that shooting.
I
And
couldn't because I knew his next question was going to be who did it or what happened, where was it? Or I couldn't say anything about I couldn't say anything about nothing.
Okay.
So why would I speak on something and get caught up? I'm not trying to get caught up in my life.
In the same interview, did you also tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that on the Friday before Donovan Thomas was killed, that you went to DJ Drama studio as well?
If I told the detective something like that, I probably did. I don't.
And that's something that you also told investigator Thorpe when he interviewed you.
Well, I hadn't heard the question yet.
You also told Detective Thorpe about going to DJ Drama Studio that Friday before Nut was killed as well, correct?
I recall.
Okay. So is it fair to say you told Detective Thorpe about going to DJ Drama Studio, then you also told Detective Gaither and Dennis at a later interview about the same series of events leading up to Donovan Thomas's murder?
Can you say that again?
I'm going to give her a little latitude. I think she's trying to get clear what the witness's testimony is. Thank you.
When you first met with Detective Thorpe in January 11th, you told him about going to DJ Drama Studio the night before Donovan Thomas was killed, correct?
I don't recall.
Okay. You also now, in this January 28th interview, you've now told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis also about this going to DJ Drama's studio the Friday night before Donovan Thomas was killed, correct?
I probably did. I don't remember what. I don't know.
Now, during this same January 28th interview, did you tell Detective Gaith and Detective Dennis that you actually owned a chopper, a gun, a chopper?
So it's no point in me trying to protect him no more because he did. But huh?
You were making a comment about someone being deceased and passed away.
You doing?
What you were saying?
Just go ahead and re-ask your question.
Yeah, my question was, in this same interview with Detective Gates and Detective Dennis, did you tell them that back in January 2015, that you, when they asked you what type of gun you had, and you told them that you had a chopper?
Can you say that again?
Sure. In this same January interview where you're meeting with Detective Gates and Detective Dennis, they asked you what type of gun you had. Do you recall telling them that you had a chopper?
No, I don't recall what I just said to them.
And that chopper is a chopper that was purchased by Quindarius Zachary, or Little D, from Cleveland.
I don't recall.
Now, I think I just heard you say that someone is dead and you don't need to protect them anymore. Who were you referencing?
Tay Threat?
Okay. Is that the young man who passed away a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay. What would you be protecting him from?
I don't want to talk about it.
And let me ask you this, back in 2015, were you friends with Tay back in 2015?
Yes.
Okay. And one, I'm sorry to hear about your loss. In 2015, was Tay shot at by IF gang members while he was sitting in his vehicle back in 2015?
How I supposed to know?
Do you recall talking to Detective Gates and Detective Dennis about him being shot at in his car?
Like, if I said, I don't recall.
And Trevon, and is his real name Trevante Turner? You're shaking your head. Is that a yes
Yes.
for the record?
Yes.
Back in 2015, did Trevante Turner consider himself a part of YSL?
No.
Do you recall Detective Gates and Detective Dennis talking about the fact that he was shot up by IF gang in the midst of the beef between YSL and IF gang?
All right. Threat had beef with Rich Homie Coin. I don't know what they beef was about, but Threat had beef with Rich Homie Coin, and he was on his ass.
And like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
who was on who's behind?
Threat was on Rich Homie,
Okay.
and yeah, Threat was on Rich Homie, and Threat got into it with Nut and them. That's it.
And at the time, was Rich Homie Quan claiming affiliation with IF gang?
Huh?
Let me ask this first. Are you talking about Rich Homie Quan and Threat? Was this back in 2015?
What you mean?
What you were just telling me?
No, it was 2014. I think it was one of them years.
And at the time, was Rich Homie Quan claiming affiliation with IF gang?
I don't know what Rich Homie was claiming.
And you said that Threat got into it with Nut in them.
I don't know how it went, but I know that. Yeah, threat like that.
Okay. Is that what started the beef between YSL and If Gang?
Threat wasn't YSL, like, you know what I mean? Like, people, YSL is not what y'all making it be. Like, I keep telling y'all that a person can wake up and say, Atlanta is a monkey see, monkey do city. Like, you see people doing something, you just do it. I mean, and people say, just because I know this person, oh yeah, I say, oh, I take a picture and say I'm YSL or whatever, but threat was MDC. You know what I mean? There wasn't he wasn't no YSL or that shit.
Did he ever stop claiming MDC and claim YSL?
Nah, we don't switch up. That's just what it is.
And you said he claimed MDC. What's MDC?
I don't know.
Okay, but if you said he claimed it, do you not know what MDC stands for?
It's none of my business.
So when you say he's claiming MDC, what do you mean?
I will,
When you say he's claiming MDC, what do you mean?
I don't ask questions. That's what I mean.
Okay. Is MDC a music group?
Ask them.
I'm asking you.
I think they got rappers. I don't know.
Okay. Are they a music group?
Huh?
Are they a music group?
sustained.
Does MDC stand for most dangerous clique?
Ask them.
I'm asking
I'm
you.
from Canterville.
Okay, but you said he claims MDC, so I'm asking you, does it stand for most dangerous clique?
If I say yeah and that ain't what it stands for, you're gonna say I'm lying. So I don't know what it stands for.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gates and Detective Dennis about members of MDC beating up Little D from Mechanicsville in the club, in Club Crucial?
I don't recall. Probably so. I ain't no telling.
Do you know if members of MDC beat up Demekion or Little D from Mechanicsville in Club Crucial?
They did. I was laughing too.
And MDC, are they from Bowen Homes?
No, ask me. Ask them.
Did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis in an interview that you were cool with MDC dudes because you grew up in Bowen Homes and they from Bowen Homes?
I'm from Canterville.
But that you spent some time, did you spend time in Bowen Homes?
I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall living in Bowen Homes before moving to Mechanicsville?
Oh, I stayed in Bowen Home.
Okay. And did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you stayed in Bowen Homes prior to moving to Mechanicsville?
I don't know if I told them that.
Okay. And that because you did stay in Bowen Homes, you were cool with a lot of the dudes in MDC. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that?
I don't recall.
What does it mean to claim a clique? You said he claimed MDC. What does that mean to claim a clique or claim MDC? What does that mean?
What you mean?
You said it, so I'm asking you, what did you mean? You said he claimed MDC. What does that mean?
Ask it. I don't know.
I'm asking you because you said it. So what did you mean?
That's just how I talk.
Okay, so what did you mean when you said that?
You said something about was he YSL or something. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, you can't tie my friends into what nobody else got going on. Like, when you speaking on gangs, you know what I mean? A gang is a gang. That shit don't have nothing to do with nothing else.
If you
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Okay, that's all right.
frustrated me up here.
That's fine. So what did you mean? I'm asking a very specific question. What did you mean when you said he claimed MDC? What does that mean to claim it?
I guess you gotta Google it then.
Well, you-
Mr. Copeland, she's not asking what does it mean objectively. She's asking what did you mean when you said it?
I just said it, I don't know.
Think something different. I don't know what's going on, man. Little Woody, little
Now-
Woody. I mean, he's not little, he's a grown man, but you know. I still feel
All right. Now, earlier we talked about you talking to Nut back in 2015. Do you recall ever meeting with Nut to give him back some items that were stolen from him?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall, isn't it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that prior to Nut passing away, that someone broke into his car and you ended up with the merchandise from his car being broken into?
I recall telling you in the back room somewhere in this courthouse that I lied, and I'm being truthful today by telling you that I made it up. So what I said to the investigators in the past, I came forward and told you that I was in the room by myself when I told you that. I don't have no reason to lie. Don't nobody intimidate me. I'm not trying to protect nobody, no nothing. But I'm not gonna sit up here and tell a lie that I can't keep up with. That's just it. I don't know. Like, what you talking about?
Okay. We're going to get to what you told me, but I'm going to ask you first. Did you tell back in 2015 that you met up with Nut because someone stole some of his items and you gave him those items back?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, speaking about what you told me, do you recall telling me and my investigator Long that it was actually you who stole the items and then you returned it back to him?
I pay too much.
Okay, but do you recall telling myself and investigator Long that you actually took those items, but you didn't return them?
I did tell you that.
All right. But more importantly, that you actually met up with Nut. Do you recall telling the police that you met up with Nut to give him back those items that were stolen?
I probably did.
You probably did tell the police, or you probably did meet up with him to return the items to him?
I probably did tell that to the police.
Do you have any independent memory today of you actually returning the items to Nut?
I did.
You did return those
I
items?
did give him his stuff back.
So that was something truthful that you told the police?
That was.
Okay.
I don't know if I told it to the police, but I told it to you.
Isn't it true you also told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in January of 2015 that you called Nut and said, hey man, I got your shit right here, pull up on me, and he came and pulled up on me and you gave him his stuff back?
Take a little bit of lie and put it with it. Take a little bit of truth and put it with a lie. That's what I do.
And also, during this same meeting that you met Nut to give him back his stuff, you talked to him about the beef you were having with him and Kel. Well, excuse me, with you and Kel. I apologize.
Can you say it again?
Sure. In this same meeting that you gave Nut back his stuff, you and Nut talked about the beef that you were having with Kel.
So when I gave Nut his stuff back, I didn't like the way he looked at me. So we didn't have no conversation. He seen all the people I had with me. He got his stuff back, said appreciate it, and he left. So what I told investigators was, I don't know what I don't recall what I told them, but I remember giving him his stuff back, and I didn't like the way that he looked at me.
Okay. Did you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you and Nut had never had any beef and never had any issues?
I don't recall.
Okay. When you met with Nut, do you remember who you were with?
I ain't telling you.
Okay, so do you remember who you were with?
There's a lot of people with me.
Okay. Who were some of the people that were with you?
I can't recall.
All right. Well, you just told me that you weren't going to tell me. So
Cause I can't, it was a lot of people with me.
how many people did you have with you?
More than 5.
Did Nut have anyone with him?
I think so.
Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, I don't know them by name though. He had 2 or 3 people with him.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that he had his brother Greedy with him?
I don't recall.
And that Greedy pulled up in the gray Impala and then Nut pulled up in his Tahoe truck, his green Tahoe?
From what I remember was I was already talking to Nut when that great car pulled up.
Okay. And was Nut in his green Tahoe truck? Do you remember?
Damn, I can't really recall what Nut was in.
Okay.
He may have. I ain't pay attention to his car. It's just the way the other car pulled up that made me pay attention.
Okay, so did you not like how Greedy pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay, so was your issue with the way Greedy pulled up or your issue was with Nut?
The way they did, I don't recall.
All right, while you're looking through your notes, we haven't had a break in a little while. It's probably time to at least stretch. Let's take a quick break.
Thank you.
All right, so adjourned.
You open and bundle your account, you receive free stock.
It looks like they're about to go to break again. Let me see. I don't know what they're doing right now. But so
All right, we can all take a break as well.
we don't hear the judge.
Say anything with the record before we
So
do
they
that?
are on break again for a short period of time. It looks like I really don't know. But this is when I say long is long, you know.
Because I can't say for facts.
Okay, so I was about to start singing loud. I got no business being out there. I'm tired too. Shoot. I gotta learn how to speed things up on this stuff to get things going faster. So like I could have fast forwarded this played it through and then I don't know how to do the short video, you know what I mean?
After you
I don't know
told
how
the
to do that
police
stuff.
that
So
you
they're
on
back
shook
in
hands,
again.
you told the police that Kel wanted you to
back in
FaceTime
session.
Thug.
So let's get into it.
Thug had nothing to do with what we had going on.
That's not what I'm asking you, Mr.
I'm
Goldberg.
telling you the truth.
Did Kel shoot up or shoot Thug's car the night that the gambling house was shot up?
Everybody could got shot up, and I can't say if I never seen who actually did it. They say that it was Kel who did it.
Was Thug's car one of the cars that was shot up the night that the gambling house was shot up?
My car was shot up, and a few other cars. I didn't see Thug cars because once I came from behind the wall, everybody was scared of pulling off.
So is your response that you don't know if Thug's car was shot up?
I don't recall if his car was shot. I doubt it was shot up because I seen it what a couple days later or whatever.
Did you tell the police that when, back in this January interview with Gaither and Dennis, that when Kel asked you to FaceTime Thug, you FaceTime Thug and said, "Hey, Slime, the beef over with." So Thug was like, "Yeah, it's over with." And then Kel got on the phone and Thug started talking. And Thug said, "The beef ain't over with until you pay for my window. You shot my window."
But I told you I'd make anything up if I'm talking to investigators.
Okay. And they clarified and they asked you, "Is that what Kel said?" And you said, "No, that's what Thug told Kel."
It don't take a rocket science to come up with. I don't recall what I told investigators. I know I wasn't gonna tell them that I put a gun on Sheriff Hill, and if I didn't have certain people with me, I was gonna do something to them.
Okay. And that furthermore, you said, you told Detective Gaither and Dennis, "Yeah, he shot Thug's window." So Thug, like, "I don't care about none of that, about what you all have going on. You still shot at me. Just pay for my window. If you don't pay for my window, hey man, I ain't letting nothing go." I looked at Kel and said, "That's between y'all two." Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that?
You know, I don't even talk like that.
All right. And then afterwards, they hung up from FaceTime and Kel's like, "Nah, man, call Nut." And so you and Kel started talking and you told Kel, "Just pay for the window. This shit over." And Kel's like, "Pay for the window? This nigga just tried me." Did you tell the police that that's what Kel told you after he got off the phone with the?
When I pulled that gun out on Sheriff Hill, I said, "I could have got you." He went his way, and I went mine.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that you actually did shoot at Kel's house back in June of 2015? In the interview in June of 2015, you actually told the police that you shot at Kel. Do you not recall that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I
So
don't think I got a chance to get him.
you said that. You told the police you shot in the air, but Kel was around. Do you recall telling the police
Can you
that?
say it again?
Sure.
I shot in the air, but what?
All right, well, that may be something you told the police too. I don't know. She can ask about it and he can answer whatever his recollection is of what he said to the police. Go ahead. Okay, well, that is true. So make sure that you have a basis for your questions.
Yes, I did, Your Honor. Looking at those pictures, did you also speak to detectives in June of 2015?
June? Yes.
Okay. And during that interview, do you recall telling the police that you actually did shoot at Kel, but you told them that you actually shot in the air, but Kel was around?
I love God too much to be shooting at him.
Okay. Do you recall telling the police that you shot in the air?
No, I don't. I don't even recall ever shooting in the air.
Now, I want to go back to the January 28th, 2015 interview. Do you recall telling the detectives that you told Kel, "You got a problem with Thug, you don't have a problem with me. That's over with," and y'all shook hands?
Yeah, I don't recall what I done told the investigators.
Now, in the same 2015 interview with Gaither and Dennis, after you spoke with them, Gaither and Dennis, about what led up to the shooting on the highway, do you recall giving them more detailed information about the shooting on the highway?
What you mean?
Sure. Let me ask you this. Do you remember how long your interview was with Gaither and Dennis?
They questioned me so many times.
Okay. Do you remember the interview being approximately 3 hours?
Probably so.
Okay. And in the course of that interview, do you recall talking to them about a number of different things?
Like, I don't recall.
Okay. In speaking with Gaither and Dennis about the shooting on the highway, do you recall being at a pool party before the shooting occurred on the highway?
No.
Okay. Isn't it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you all were at someone's home or at the pool party and you were getting ready to leave when you saw Booshi, Booshi, get on the phone prior to you leaving the party?
I don't recall what I told the investigators.
Okay. And you actually thought Booshi might be setting you up?
She know better.
Okay. But did you think, okay, did you tell the detective you thought that she might be setting you up?
I don't recall what I told the detectives.
And you thought that Booshi might be setting you up because her family was friends with Nutt's family.
I don't know who her family friends with. I don't even know who her family is.
Do you recall them saying in that same interview that once you all left the party, you all got on the highway and you got near, I believe it was Atlanta Medical Center back then? And that's the area in where the shooting occurred on the highway.
Can you say?
Stop the video. It's long as heck. But it just seems like Attorney Hilton is deliberately just he want to play like this. I'm gonna play like this, and it's hot in there. I'm sure of it. He got that suit on. He want to get up out of them clothes, get some, some comfortable stuff on right now. He tired of it. You know what I mean? He tired of being dragged through all of this stuff. But he's getting too frustrated. Woody, you done said a lot today. You said a whole lot. I'm gonna play a little bit more of his video, because it's near the end. Yeah, I'm not gonna go any further than pick up back tomorrow, if he has to come back. Again, I don't know the video because I'm watching it with you
Say it
guys.
again.
Sure. That after you left the pool party, you and I believe Shannon got into a car and you all left, and the route that you took was near Atlanta Medical Center.
Oh, I don't recall what I told the investigators. The truth of the matter was I was trying to protect my friend. Threat.
Okay. Were you trying to protect Threat when you all were getting shot at on the highway?
I don't recall what you talking about.
Okay. Was Threat in the car with you when you were getting shot at on the highway?
I don't recall.
Do you remember
Mhm.
telling the
She
detectives
playing him.
that you
She
reached out
play,
to
you
Yak
trying to play
Gotti
me
because he was
Let's speed this
dating
up a
Booshi
little
at the
bit.
time? People thought that he had snitched.
What I'm trying to do to people who shot at me and my child, I ain't trying to see them in jail.
Oh,
Okay, but did you tell the detectives? Again,
okay.
you were concerned about being labeled a snitch.
I don't. If that was the case, then I wouldn't be a snitch.
Huh?
Isn't it true
you just
that
say?
you told the
All
detectives
right, let me.
your cousin, he's getting shot at? All this because they think he snitched. I'm already going through enough about something I didn't do. And I know if I was to tell you what was going on, as much as I
He
know,
been up there
they
too
gonna be
long.
on
Get
the
Woody
record
down.
and all this here, and you gotta get him locked up, and he gonna get his discovery package.
Oh,
First
Lord.
thing you gonna do is send the two places, to the street and to prison, and float it all around the city of Atlanta, and then all around prison. But my name's over that. I'm not going out that way. No, I'm not going through none of that. Look, they shot at me, my girl, and my baby. Almost shot my face off as we were running. I'm not for sure, but I thought I heard one of the bullets hit the car seat and grazed the car seat. I don't know.
I've been to jail so many times that I know whatever I say to the police will be in black and white. They have me no concern about being labeled a snitch or being concerned about being labeled a snitch.
Mhm.
The way I live and the way my mind set up is, I don't care how nobody label me. Like I told you, somebody shot me while I was my child.
And
Oh,
with
no, what
that,
are
the
you saying?
detective
Some
tried to
stuff that-
encourage you to tell who you saw,
Yeah,
and you
no,
would not. Is that true?
My right-handed
no
guard,
comment to.
Detective Gator told me who shot at me. She asked me, did I see one of the people? And when she said that, I was like, I didn't see this boy, no nothing. First thing came to my mind, why you bring his name up? I didn't know no blood was in the car, I didn't know nothing. And when they told me that and she brought his name up, I knew who shot at me then.
Didn't you send to Detective Gaither, and the day after this interview, a picture of the person who shot at you in the car?
She was
Tay never
pulling and
shot at me.
tugging.
Okay, but
That was a throw off.
but you sent her that picture, correct?
I can't recall. If I did, I probably did. But my whole motive was to get who, in my heart, like I said last time, and to this day right here, I have seen Tay after the fact, and I didn't do nothing to him because I knew 100% fact that this boy didn't shoot at me or do nothing to me.
He's
The
tired.
pressure that
He's
the
tired.
Atlanta
He's tired of
police
being up
put on
there.
me
He
was
wanna
just like
talk
to
before he
say
listen.
anything at this point.
See, he fed
Because
up.
at the
He's
end of the day, I
frustrated,
know
and
this boy
she's
ain't shoot at me.
deliberately doing it to
Y'all
him.
went to lock them up and charge him. I have the DA office called me, and when I was in, they didn't call me. They called Deshaun. But when I was in jail, and they was talking to her, and they was saying something about trial. I told them people on the phone while I was in jail back in whatever year that was, that he wasn't the person that shot us. I'm not protecting him, and to this day, he's out wherever he at. I'm not protecting him. I never saw him shoot at me.
Okay. In the same February 20th interview, do you recall there being a period of time when the detective left the room and it was only you and Deshaun in the room speaking?
I don't recall nothing that took place in the interrogation. But as we speak today, I am telling you what I recall. When they shot at me with me, Deshaun, and my child, I remember
Wow.
every second of that night. I still see it every night I go to sleep. I still want this shit.
Wow.
And is it true that in the same February interview, when Detective Curry left the room, it was just you and Deshaun, you said to her, this shit not going to work. Sit right here and be a damn snitch, so I'm going to keep going. And she says to you, why are you acting like you did? I didn't. They want me to say I did. Well, you should just said no. I thought you know all of them. And you said, I do know who it was. You were just saying you didn't know what to say. I did. When he jumped out the car, I know exactly who I saw.
She prepared
said
for
who?
this. So she was gone.
And he said, this
She's
shit got my
cold.
blood pressure
Oh
up.
yeah, she was on this thing. Yeah,
I think they be walking somewhere
she was
right here,
studying them
something
notes.
with the police right here. They
Miss
had to
Love
be
got
walking
together.
somewhere.
He shut up.
They could have ran up to the car. And then you say it's and them. Do you recall telling Deshaun that when it was just the two of you in the room?
I don't recall saying that, but I have watched First 48, and any of my family members will tell you, I don't remember watch police all day. Any movie, I just watch and learn how they operate. When that police left out, I knew they were still recording us. Like I said, I like it.
So if you told the detectives, I don't know who shot me, why
Listen.
didn't you just continue to say that if you knew the cameras were running? Why didn't you just tell Deshaun that knowing that the cameras were running?
Because my whole motive is to convince the police that I'm going to tell them the truth.
But you already convinced them, according to you, by telling them you didn't know who shot you, correct?
But you gotta understand the difference, like how you put pressure on me now. You keep
Wow.
applying pressure. Know what I mean? Like at this point,
Acting
I'm
like a
liable to
police
say
officer.
anything. But
She
the
knew
truth
what
of
to
the
do.
matter is, I don't know
Studied
who
me.
shot at me until Detective Gaither said one of the boys' name. And when she said one of the boys' name, she said Blood. And when they locked me up the next day, I was in what's name, and one of the boys came in like.
He
Just
just
came
going
from
on and
home, and
on.
they found
Look
a-
at look,
he
look at the
told me some
black
story
lady
that
in the
happened
back.
that I was like,
Looking
what?
at him like,
I
boy,
put two
if
and
you
two
don't
together,
shut your mouth,
and that's
like,
how I knew
yeah.
who shot at me.
Was Detective Gates in the room when you were talking to Deshaun?
I don't know. Like yeah, I'm talking about the whole time frame. When that investigator questioned me, you know what I mean? Like it was. I know Tay personally. Like I'm not gonna tell you nothing about what me and Tay had going on, but y'all know, like I know Tay didn't have nothing to do with me getting shot at.
Matter of fact, you just said you knew Tay. Didn't you tell Detective Curry that Tay had just been at your house a few days before the shooting?
Exactly. I invited him there.
Exactly. And you told the detective that that's how you knew who he was because he had been to your house.
You want to tell you why I invited Tay to my house? I'm not even gonna do him like that. No, I'm not. I'm not telling y'all that.
Okay. I'm not asking you to tell me anything. I'm asking you, were you concerned about snitching, which is why you did not want to initially tell Detective Curry who shot at you?
Sustained.
After, in that same February interview, once Detective Curry left the room and you had an opportunity to talk to Deshaun, do you remember Detective Curry coming back into the room and speaking with you some more?
I don't recall how the interrogation went.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Do you recall being concerned that there was a whole gang after you because they thought that you had killed Nut?
I wouldn't be in the streets if that was the case.
Didn't you tell the detective at this February 20th interview, I can't run from it. It's a whole gang after me. Different niggas every day. It could be different niggas every day. Every day.
I was telling the investigators anything where I could be a victim, because if I caught one of them down bad, that'd be justified.
When you say caught them down bad, what does that mean?
Self-explanatory.
It's not. If you can tell me, what does that mean?
I don't recall.
Okay, so why did you just say that?
I don't know.
And in February of 2015, when you had this initial interview after you and your child mother was shot at, did you just want the police to do their job and find out who killed Nut so that people would stop coming after you?
Can you say that again?
Sure. In February of 2015, when you had this initial interview, did you just want the police to do their job so that people could stop coming after you? You wanted them to find out who killed Nut so people could stop coming after you.
You saying, did I say that?
Yes.
I guess I don't recall. I think so. I don't know.
Were you tired of people coming after you thinking that you killed Nut?
I was tired of getting shot at.
And were you getting shot at because people thought you killed Nut?
Sustained.
Did you believe that you were getting shot at because people thought you killed Nut?
Well, I was getting shot at before that.
I'm talking about in January 2015.
I never got shot at in January 2015. I think I got shot in like in February or something like that.
When you were shot at and while you were in the car, was that in January 2015?
I don't recall. The only time I remember getting shot at is when I had my daughter. That's that's the only time I think I got shot at, if I'm not mistaken. After Nut got killed.
And you said you don't recall the time on the highway.
I don't remember if it was before or after he got killed. I told you I've been shot at a lot.
Now, you said that you finessed them because they wanted the gun that you used.
You know what nobody talks about when it comes to building a content creator business? That if you're not using a tool like Honeybook to stay organized and professional in your communication, you're probably leaving thousands.
The only time I remember getting shot at is
I probably have my microphone off. I'm sorry. I'm gonna this is pretty long and it's about to be over anyway. But I did want to say that I thought I was saying it, but I was on mute. Uh Miss Hilton was deliberately doing it. And Woody was he was anxious to get off there, get done. And I'm hoping that his counsel would have told him, that no matter what, whatever you're saying, you just say, but they're going to ask each and every question. So if it's for 8 hours, it's going to be 8 hours, a couple breaks in between. So he figured by saying that over and over again, and then he's doing more talking than she's doing, and she's leading him. She's speaking nice and calm, and you know, she practiced him too. Like she's been out for a minute, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's seen exactly how to get the right answers from him. And I don't think that she has like hatred for him or anything like that. I just know that she definitely they all let him play. He's really just playing himself. And I'm gonna say it is not a good jacket to have a snitch title connected to you. It's not. um you know what I'm saying. It never will be, never was, and it's never going to be. I think the reason why we was giving Woody a pass like this and is because it was played out the way it's been played out, and you just can't help but to love the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he funny, you know. At least the first time we saw him, he was very funny. He even speaking to him, or I see different people speaking to him. He's always making you laugh, you know. But this is how the system does you. They're not your friend. Unfortunately, as bad as we will always want that, we could even have somebody that's in it that we're close to, in the police department, all kind of different things. But the reality of it, unless they say off record, shouldn't say nothing, you know. But this is a person who doesn't have a mother or a father, and he had a child. He just was blabbing like he's doing right now. So I'm gonna end this video and probably catch back up with it tomorrow, um in the morning, prayerfully, if I can. But thanks for tuning in. This is Shout It Out. Let's talk about it. Before I go, I know this is a long video, and I'm new at this, so you're gonna see commercials, gonna see these things. So for anybody that has watched my videos or that do watch my videos, and if they do pass it around, I'm on a whole nother page as of November of last year, and it just seemed like I just can't find everybody. But if you happen to see me or know me, a lot of my new friends on here, I don't really know everybody, but I know it's not my old page. So, but once again, I thank you for tuning in. I thank you if you liked it. If you like it, can you just please, like, comment, and share. Once again, this is Stacy. Everybody shout it out. Let's talk about it.